So let's do that. Hi, everyone. My name is Sumit Verlikar. I'm the founder of Tilden Global Education. We are a premier education consulting firm, primarily based out of Mumbai, India, and San Francisco. We work with people over 37 countries, and today we have a very special guest today, Sunandinee Mehra.
Hello, I'm really glad to be here. Help in whatever way I can.
Awesome. So Sunandini is, of course, a deferred MBA admit, and she's gotten admissions into many different schools. Chief ones being Wharton, Kellogg, Columbia, Booth. I hope I'm not kind of being erroneous in some of those listing out those schools.
No, spot on.
Absolutely great. So without further ado, let's understand who Sunandini is. So could you maybe start with a bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, sure. So I'll give a quick overview of my profile. I'm Sunandinee Mehra. I just graduated from IIT Bombay from the Civil Engineering Department as Department Rank 1. I've had prior experiences at Bain & Company, KPMG, and even some Sunbite Foundation, which is an EdTech volunteering intern. Just finished an internship with Chapter Innovation, which was in the clean tech space. And yeah, in college, I've held a couple of PRs. I was involved with Insight, which is the journalism body at IIT, and I was heading my department's academic mentorship program. That was in my final year, and before that, I was also involved with the technical team. I really enjoy reading. Want to jump back into that now that I have some time after graduation. I've also been a bit of a fitness enthusiast since I've had hypothyroid since a young age. And yeah, I just successfully completed this whole MBA application, of course, with Sumit's guidance. And it's been a wonderful experience.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sunandini. So let's talk about the $1 million question here, right? A lot of times when people approach us, we usually get asked, do I have a chance, right? Do I make the cut, right? So you were there about 12 months back. So if now that you've been through the process and you've been so successful in it, right? Could you provide your own perspective on how can one really evaluate if they are worth a shot?
Right. So I think there are a couple of factors that one looks at when evaluating oneself. Of course, there are the peaks, so to speak. So your CGPA, your GMAT scores, your educational background. It doesn't have to be an IIT, any institute, or even if it's not a very premier institute, how well have you performed in that sector, in that institute. Your professional experiences, your PORs, all of these are sort of peaks that build your profile. But I think one very strong factor that people often forget is the core motivation, because that is something which propels a student throughout the application process. And we've seen beautiful stories, success stories of people who thought that they might not have a chance, but still really blossom and come out, which is only possible when you really have that motivation. So I think more than anything, along with, of course, whether we have a shot practically, students should also think about, why do I want this to begin with? What is something so unique about me that an MBA is like, it's a perfect match, and what can I do with that MBA? Have those answers clear. Of course, Sumit's team will guide you all throughout all of this. But I think one very important factor which everyone misses when thinking if they should do it and are they worth it is the core motivation about why.
Right. So let's kind of demystify that a little bit further, right? So if you were to, for example, give people maybe a bullet list, like a list of things that they may want to look at, while self-evaluating. And this is not just, of course, for the deferred program, but really for other programs that people are applying to. The full-time MBA program, the MIM
Right.
program, the MFIN program, and there are many other programs, right, that people apply to. So like and broadly the advice would really help a lot of them. So but yeah, from your perspective, if you were to give them like a list of maybe 4 or 5 things or 3 or 4 things, right, what would those be that they should look at?
So again, coming in the hard data points, I would be your educational background, your GMAT score, GMAT, GRE, whatever the applicable score is, your professional experience, what are your USPs, so to speak, in extracurriculars or social activities, largely. And then the softer point would be your motivation. But these are the general peaks. Like, have you got a lot of awards, scholarships? Have you done something very impactful for your society? Or otherwise, it doesn't have to be social always, but impactful in general, where you excellent at your internship? Do you have some significant insights in the industry? What is your professional experience, so to speak?
All right, so you've heard that, of course, and then those are some of the points that you should look at. Of course, you can go through our channel in this many peers of Sunandinees who have also provided their 2 cents about how they have self-evaluated. So, but I hope that for the audience, this really helps them at least get a start on evaluating whether you should really be doing it in the first place. So the next question,
Right.
Sunandini, is why MBA, right? Why do you feel an engineer like you needs an MBA?
Mm.
And specifically, why did you choose to go through the deferred MBA route versus the full-time MBA?
Okay, so interestingly, before I joined IIT, also I knew that an MBA some point in the future would be something I'd be very interested in. It's
Mm-hmm,
the route that my dad had taken, and he is now into teaching, and he's taken a very unconventional path after that MBA. But it
mm-hmm,
showed to me that it opens a lot of doors, and I can make a lot of impact. And while studying engineering as well throughout my college, I realized that what I enjoy a lot is interacting with people, being involved in thought-provoking discussions, making decisions, sorry, and seeing it really manifest in a business side of things, more
mm-hmm,
so than some research and so on. And then when I went further in my third year and I completed my internship at Bain, I think it really hammered in all of these notions that I had. That as an engineer, there is a lot that I can deliver post an MBA in the business aspect of things as well. That I'm not just limited to my quantitative skill set, but I can actually really beautifully contribute using that, leverage it. And it's needed in the industry, it's needed in the business. So I think those were largely the points. I've always been a people's person. My dad was a role model, and my internship sort of solidified that having those quantitative skill sets in the industry is meaningful. Coming to why deferred MBA, I think I attended your seminars both in my second year and then third year, and then after the third year is when I applied. Before that, I did not know what a deferred MBA is, and my dad was very keen on sending me to an IIM instead, some point in the future. And I think just the entire package that a deferred MBA can give, the opportunities that it opens, the network that you build with the school even before you join, that supports the career guidance, and more than anything, there's nothing to lose. Sure, it's not an easy process. It's not a cheap process either. But at the same time, I think it's something which really forces you to introspect a lot. You learn a lot about yourself, and there is nothing to lose at the end of the day. If you think you have a shot and you have the motivation, go for it. That is what could possibly go wrong.
right. So just again, if you could clarify for the audience, what do you mean by nothing can go wrong, right? So do you maybe want to expound on that a little bit?
Just in the sense that what do you have to lose at this stage when you're still a student, you're still studying, you're in the wheels of giving exams and writing essays, and you have a little time on your hands. So that's why I stress a lot on motivation. If that is set apart from your other factors as well, of course, then I don't see any major drawback in applying early. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, if the profile is one which you feel you can do much better after 2 years or 3 years of work ex, or give yourself time to really come to your full potential and then apply, then of course wait and apply later. Prepare for those 2 3 years, build your profile accordingly. But if not, then there is nothing to lose. If you apply now, try again later, or vice versa. That was my largest motivation. I knew that my profile is somewhere there, it is decent enough to at least give it a shot.
Okay. All right. Just one other thing I wanted to build on what Sunandini just said is they're not going to judge you guys if you do not, let's say, get into one school, right? Let's say you apply to like 5 schools, 6 schools, whatever, 3 schools, whatever. And let's say one of the schools that, let's say, you don't get into is, let's say, your dream school, right? Now, you want to get into that school. You want to, anyways, apply to that school later on in the full-time MBA, right? They're not going to hold your rejection against you, right? It is not like, in the US and, especially, they would look at you as an applicant and they're not going to look at, oh, we rejected this person. So your chances are low. In fact, if at all, it shows persistence, it shows character over a period of time that you have harbored that passion and you want to apply after 3-4 years. So that shows persistence and passion and grit. If at all, it might improve your chances, not reduce them. Yeah. So just want to let you know, it's a
Exactly.
very contrary. It's very contrary to what we are used to in our society. But I just want to let you guys know that that is what we've seen with many, many, many people who have gotten into like the top 5 schools in the full-time MBA program, where they did not get into those programs in the deferred process. Anyway, so I wanted to just clarify that as well. So Nandini, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I think if anything, just one more point is that since right now we're in this period of applying as students and we're used to giving exams and all,
Yeah.
if perhaps the profile aspect is a little muted, one can even try for the MIMs or MFINs and other programs, hold that, and then reapply for an MBA later if they're very set on it. Of course, this is a slightly twisted path, perhaps not ideal, but it's something to think about. Again, it depends where your motivations lie. But if someone feels a little hesitant to apply for an MBA, then an MIM or an MFIN is always a good idea. And I still think that, as a student, we have a lot of time and a lot of energy, like mental energy to really give these exams and stuff. So I think it's definitely something worth giving a shot, regardless of whether it's an MBA or an MFIN, what the route is.
Yeah. The chief complaint I hear from a lot of people that we work with for the full-time MBA cohort is just the sheer lack of time, right? You right now as a student, you don't have a boss sitting on the top of your head every week, right? And that's a very different kind of an environment that you get into after you start working. There's also like a lot of examples that we've had, from our cohort in India as well as cohort from outside, where we've had people apply to MIM programs and then getting into it, and then after like 3-4 years applying for a full-time MBA program, right? So we've had somebody from Japan that we worked with who got into the Duke MIM program, who got into Wharton in 2022. In fact,
Okay.
this year I think she graduated, right? And there's a lot of people from India, for example, in 2017, 2018, right, who applied, and just joined Wharton, or some of those programs like Stanford, etc. So there are definitely many, many cases of people having done that. So thanks so much, Sunandinee, to which I think just clarifies that it's not just a particular program that you're going after, which is the MBA or the deferred MBA, but there could be different paths towards getting to that school that you wish to really go for. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about the process for you. It's a long, intensive process. So if you could talk to us through the process experience and what specifically you enjoyed, what specifically you found was most challenging.
Okay. I think so. The absolute first step is identifying that this is something you want to pursue, and the sooner you do that, the better. Sumit sir holds a lot of these sessions, visit schools, and there are recordings and stuff. And of course, look at that. Get your motivation together. The sooner you give the GMAT, the better, because I think it plays on our Indian mentality that we have a test scores. We're very more confident. It's a softer point, but the sooner the GMAT is done and you have your score, the better. After that, the application itself consists of 3 or 4 components, a little variable per school. So you have your GMAT scores, your essays, your LOR. Um, there might be a pre or post interview reflection video question also. The interview, of course, and I think that largely covers the application list per se. So once you have your GMAT score ready, after that you move on, or simultaneously you move on to your essays as well. This feeds very strongly onto your motivation of why you're applying and what you really want to do with the MBA, what can you offer to the school, what can the school offer to you, and so on. I think every school we spend about 3 to 4 weeks. Again, this varies, uh, depends how quickly you pick up. But your essays go through multiple iterations, which are very important. And you can reach out to seniors, to the Tilden team, get it verified, get it cross-checked. There might be ideas which make a lot of sense to you, but you're not able to put them out directly. So delivery is also very important.
Mhm,
After that, LORs, of course. I think in India, LORs become a little generic, so you need to really make them very targeted, really
mhm,
drill into what did you do, how did you contribute to that organization or that project with the professor, and bring it out. Again, I think throughout the process, delivery is important. And finally, just bring it all together, applying, sending it off to the school in time. Keeping another aspect is keeping your positivity high throughout the process, not feeling that okay, I'm lagging behind, or so just to give you an example, I think we started very late. I joined the cohort a little later after the placement season in IT. And at that point, I didn't have a story ready, and I had my motivation. I knew why I wanted to do it, but sort of bringing it together, the delivery wasn't possible. So I remember at one point I was so frustrated. I'd send the children team my CV and everything, and I was like, "You tell me, like I'm not able to bring it out, but I'm interested in like everything now. How do we bring it together?" But then ultimately, it flourishes. You really pull through. So having that persistence, staying consistent, emotionally strong, that's also part of the journey. Does that broadly answer the question? Is there something I can touch upon specifically?
No, I think you have. See, the process is unique to everyone, right? So this was your process, and I'm sure that the people may have had a different version or a view of the process, but it is what it is, right? Which also makes it very bespoke, right? Very customized. There's no one right time, right, to start. There's no one right time
Yeah.
to end. There are people who join us, way early. There are people who join us, you know, a few months before the deadlines. Uh, Broadly, the rule of thumb is to join as early as you are ready to commit. You know, in an ideal world, you should come and you should be starting thinking about what you're going to be doing, not during that year, but a year in
Yeah.
advance, maybe a couple of years in advance sometimes, where you're really thinking about what is the kind of club should I join, right? Or what is the position of responsibility I should look at? What is more valuable, right? What are the opportunities that I have to make an impact when I take on some of these responsibilities? So the process, of course, this what I'm talking about is what is it that you come to us with, right? But there is actually a lot more that you can do before you actually start writing your application. And that bit of it is, of course, the profile building, right? And that I feel that you should probably start even maybe 12 months before you actually start the application. So that's what, my personal view is. But of course, it really is very bespoke. It's very customized to where you are exactly in your life and what your priorities are. But that's what I would,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say. All right. So I'm very keen to understand now that you've been through the process. What have been your chief learnings, and if there is any advice that you would like to give to prospective applicants across various different programs, what would that be?
I think in some way or the other, I've covered a lot of these points, but some key learnings that I had was be very certain of your motivation right from the beginning. This also ties into what Sir just mentioned about planning in advance and choosing the right POR. I don't really want to frame it in that manner that you choose your POR to get into an MBA school, but be certain of your motivation and how does your POR feed into that,
Right.
because what you need to do at the end of the day is not say that okay, I was XYZ in my college. You need to say what did I do as XYZ, and you will do something or create that impact only if you have that very strong motivation. So I would urge students in their second and third year itself to really think about what, and it's a little early, but still, what is your motivation, what drives you, where do you see yourself, and then tailor it together along the way. It will also really carve out a story and explain to you where you're headed.
Mm.
So, firstly, that be very certain of your motivation. Second, keep your confidence and positivity high. I remember GMAT period was very stressful for me. There were some other times when I saw that okay, this person has completed 4 schools. I'm still on my first school. Keep yourself away from that in whatever manner. Third, as Sir said, keep your GMAT early. That quantitative score in your mind really boosts your confidence. Or on the flip side, if it doesn't, if you have enough time between your application deadline and the GMAT score, it doesn't throw you into panic. So that buffer is always there. Fourth, very important, reach out to seniors. I think this is something which you should definitely do while applying. Talk to as many people as you can. The children team will connect you with students as well. So just reach out, talk to people, understand the experience. Everyone has had a different path. What were the mistakes they made? What can you avoid? So on. And yeah, I think wrapping it up, just plan in advance. Be ready for all of it and plan.
Okay, I think we are done with our discussion. I hope all of you guys found great value and perspectives from Sunandini today. If you wish to connect with me or with her, obviously you could reach out to us on LinkedIn. You obviously can also visit our website. It's there in the logo behind. But if you can't read that, it's www.tilden.in. And you can always reach out to the customer support team, Tilden support team, at connect@tilden.in, which is connect@tilden.in. Okay. And I'm more than happy. I look forward to connecting with you very soon. And all the very best. Sunandinee, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, no, none at all. I'll be happy to, assist any student in any way possible.
Thank you so much. Yeah, with that, we will wrap up. And yeah, thanks to Sunandini, and thanks to all of you. And I hope and wish you all the very best as you plan out your future. Thank you.
Thank you so